I'm going to show you guys how to can and make cherry juice. I'm going to be using a steam juicer today. I have it linked to my Amazon, and it is really easy and simple to use, and I love it. So I'm going to show you guys how it works and how we're going to use it. So it comes in 3 separate sections. We're going to take the 2 top sections off and fill this section with water till about here. Now we're going to take our 2 other pots and put them back on top of the one that you just filled up with water. We're going to open this up and put our cherries on the top. Now we're going to put the lid on, turn the heat up, and let it do its thing. Now we're going to take our jars and put them in our water bath canner so they can sterilize. I'm using pint-sized jars with small mouth lids. I like the smaller jars instead of the quart-sized jars for this because I can just use what's in the serving size, and I feel like the quart-sized jar, it was just too much. When I opened it, I had to hurry up and use it. I feel like using the smaller jars will just be perfect for this. Don't forget to add a splash of white vinegar to your water when you're sterilizing your jars, and when you're cooking your jars, this helps so it prevents a seal from forming on your jars. It's been about 20 minutes, so we're going to go ahead and drain our juice. All you have to do is take this little gadget here, and there's a little clip on it, so you're going to push it down into your jar that you're going to be putting your juice into, and you just hold it open while it drains into your jar. I typically put the juice straight into the jars that I'm going to be canning with, but I still have them sterilizing, so I'm just using half-gallon jars to put all the juice in for now until I'm ready to put it in to the jars that I'm going to be using. I always set up a little contraption, if you will, to make things easier because this can get very, very hot, and you want to make sure that you can put your jar on something to drain into. So I'm going to show you guys kind of what I got going on. Obviously this is not the safest setup, but I just use whatever I have around. So I have some water bottles, this box, and a ball jar, and then I set my jar up here, and that's where I drain it into. So just so you guys can see, it's always good to have something to set your jar up on while you're doing this. You want to make sure you're checking the water on the bottom periodically because you do not want this to get dry, so you want to make sure that you're keeping it filled with water throughout the whole process. Now that the jars have been sterilized, we're going to take them out and put them onto a towel on the counter so we can start filling our jars. It's really important that you put a towel down on your counter so it doesn't crack the jars. Now we're going to fill our hot jars with our hot juice, and we're going to put it in a hot water bath canner. It is really, really important that you make sure that you're putting hot stuff in a hot water bath canner and cold stuff in a cold water bath canner when you're canning. We're going to funnel our juice into our jars, and you're going to leave a 1/2 of an inch of headspace. I use this funnel that has the little marker where I need to stop, but you can also get a little stick and measure. Next, you're going to take your lids of choice and wash them. You're going to get some vinegar, a clean towel, and we're going to wipe down all of the tops of these before putting our lids on. Here, putting your bands on, you want to use 3 fingers, and we call it fingertip tight. So you're going to make sure each jar is fingertip tight with only 3 fingers. When you put your jars in here, you want to make sure that there's at least 1 inch of water over the top of your jars. We're going to put the lid on and turn it up to high heat. Now that our pot has come to a roiling boil, we're going to set a timer for 15 minutes. And it does depend on where you live, so you need to check the sea level and the time. Usually it's adjusted by 5 minutes, so where I live, it is 15 minutes for pints. Now that it's been 15 minutes, we're going to turn off the heat. Take the lid off and let it sit for 5 minutes. It's been 5 minutes. We're going to take our jars out and put them on a towel, and we're going to let them cool for 24 to 48 hours before touching them. I did have a jar unfortunately break, so we're going to have to dig that out here soon. it's been over the 24 hours, so you want to make sure you remove your rings, check your seal, and wash your jar, and they are shelf stable for over 18 months.